Welcome, and this is the best MMORPG upcoming news for multiple games, including some hidden gems. You want to watch this video all the way through. I guarantee it's going to be useful to you. And we're going to start off with Brighter Shores, of course. So let's go through this. Some recent news. So working on Project Milestone, they are trying to make leveling feel better. Andrew Gower later tweeted that Project Milestone was conceived specifically to address two common issues, making leveling feel more rewarding, and he wants to add more content to do that. So it makes sure that nothing repeats sooner than 50 levels apart. It reduces repetition. The project also includes changing botanists from gathering, adding a new gameplay loop, adding bounties to additional professions that also include combat. They also plan on having a range of mini-games to provide alternative pathways to level up across multiple professions. I'm excited for the changes because it adds more variety to the professions, but I think bigger issues to deal with. For example, adding challenging combat, adding special attacks, adding bosses, adding a global chat. Just give us a boss that is incredibly high level, it's in a compact room, maybe there's ways to dodge the abilities of the boss, and it's insanely high level. It can just one-shot you automatically. It has the ability to one-shot you. It's challenging, and you have to take it down in a group with other people, so it has that social feature. Now, they do say it's best to sort out combat before they do actually add bosses, but I say, why can't you just add just a random boss that's just super high level and try and kill it 1,000 times? It's even more challenging without the abilities, right? What you could do, you could increase the drop rates of whatever it drops, and as you add abilities to the game that naturally make the boss easier, you can reduce the drop rates in line with the time to kill on the boss. What I'm saying is, they just need to add some challenging content. Okay, getting 500 is challenging because it takes forever. Well, I've already done that multiple times. I've finished Hopeport. So I'm thinking, where is the challenging content? Where is the bosses? When are you going to make me frustrated because I'm getting one-shot by something? By some bullshit mechanic. Give me challenges, Mr. Gower. You know, I just wish they went into the office one day, Monday morning, and was like, right, everyone, we need to add something challenging for our player base to kill. Bosh, Drakantos, it's a free-to-play MMORPG with a nostalgic pixel art style, combining with exciting, fast-paced action combat and more than 20 unique playable heroes. Each hero has its unique mechanics and encourage teaming up with other players in the online world that complements your playstyle. The game includes dynamic dungeons, dopamine loot, PvP, and up to 16 bosses to take on. The game has a pixel art style as mentioned, and they have a closed beta access right now, and I will imagine that it will have future ones too. Recent news: the game is also listed as coming soon on Steam, so you'll be able to get your hands on this game soon. It's hard to find out recent news about this game. Next game to talk about is Monsters and Memories. It's based on the gameplay, social interactions, and sense of being in a virtual world that we loved in the classic era, early 2000s, of MMORPGs. They have multiple classes with all of its own deep lore, including Archer, Bard, Beastmaster, and many more. They have regular playtest weekends, including this weekend. The June playtest, for example, had 1,274 concurrent players, and they had 500 plus players supported in one single zone called Night Harbor. The recent news for this game is that they are expanding the world, creating environments for the Underdock area and character concepts for Deep Elves and Deep Elf armor and UI changes, amongst other updates. This Monsters and Memories MMORPG, it's got that more classic feel to it. When you do take a look at the graphics and that, you kind of get the classic feel in terms of the graphics as well. But what would be interesting is how expansive the world is. You know, if I was to go from one side of the world to the next, how long does it take to do that? You know, how expansive the world is. What is the variety of content? I am keeping an eye on this game. I am considering playing it, but we'll see how it develops as well. Now, this next game I am very intrigued by. This one is called Stars Reach. It's a single shared galaxy full of living planets to explore, settle, and rule. Thousands of planets and space zones, each persistent whether you're online or not, all connected into a single galactic online multiplayer game. It's a massively multiplayer sandbox RPG with a deep skill tree, horizontal progression system, dozens of professions, and no classes or gender locks. Responding to community feedback, playable worlds has enhanced lighting, terrain details, shaders, and simulation systems. And the Kickstarter launched in February 2025. It hit its $200,000 goal within an hour and eventually raised over $750,000. Now I know what you're thinking, a Kickstarter MMORPG. We've heard of that before. Countless Kickstarter MMORPGs that have come out and that haven't actually delivered. But what I can see with this, gathered some goodwill with the community, because if you look at the Stars Reach YouTube, for example, they are putting out constant updates every week with the devs, doing Q&As, they are being very transparent in their development process. The game is apparently going to be launching free to play with an optional property pass for landowners and a loyalty currency system to earn game content without real money. Developers stress this model is not pay to win, and the game includes weathers, seasons, terraforming, dynamic rivers, and the new updates that have come into the game is that there is now a new mini tutorial for new players, and they hold regular playtests. And in future updates, they plan on continuing to improve professions that include combat specialists, explorers and rangers, botanists, merchants and traders, crafters and artisans, leaders and politicians, entertainers and journalists. Basically, they've got a lot of professions that they're going to be working on, and I will bring you the latest update for that game in future videos. The next game to talk about is HighSpell. This is a indie-inspired RuneScape MMO with anywhere between 400 and 1,000 concurrents, and you can play this game right now. It's available to log on onto a browser as well. Back in the old days, RuneScape, when you used to be using a browser for it. It's only made by one dev, so of course bear that in mind with updates, but even with just one dev, they continually do update the game. So it's an open sandbox world with multiple skills to train, including crafting, enchanting, potion making, and a range of combat skills including accuracy, strength, defense, magic, and range. You can play how you want. If you want to become a skiller and don't do any combat, you can do that. If you want to focus on combat and take on the range of bosses that are in HighSpell, then you're able to do that. And recently they just released a new boss in HighSpell, but the developer did not say where it's located. It's up to the players to find it. It has a global chat messaging system, something that we've been waiting for in Brighter Shores for a while. It has both PvE and a wilderness area similar to RuneScape, whereby you can die by other players, but some bosses are there with some valuable end game loot, including armor sets, for example. But it's nice to see this game doing so well, covered by a lot of YouTubers as well that do play RuneScape who have covered HighSpell. They have a range of different bosses to actually go and kill. One thing to caveat, and it's okay to say this, right, the 400 to 1,000 players are partly because what happens is people do play on 2 or 3 alts to then feed their main, and that's a common play style on this game, which is okay. That's the design they've gone for, and I think that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's what they want to do, it's their choice, right? So that's where some of the concurrence comes from. But equally, this game is gaining traction, and there is a lot to do in it. So I kind of got a balanced view on this. I'm looking to see how this develops. I'm considering playing HighSpell, but I'm not sure how many people would be interested in me covering that. Now, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this wrong, but we've also got another game called Urpe something, right? MMORPG, where you can immerse yourself in a seamless and interactive, intricate world brimming with secrets, quests, dangers, and most importantly, other players. Different classes such as Squire, Knight, Mage, and Rogue, all with unique abilities and intricate details. You have to make different choices of what you want to become more powerful in with your skill points, and you choose your own path in the game. The game has an upcoming playtest on the 6th of June, which you can request access within the Steam page. And I assume that they are granting access to quite a lot of people so that they can get feedback on the game. So if you was to request access, the chances are that you probably might get it. This game seems to be heavily focused on PvE and taking down challenging enemies and storing loot in your house. It draws heavy inspiration from classic games like Tibia and Runescape, blending pixel art charm with a challenging skill-based progression system. They say in the past that they plan to have both full PvP servers and non-PvP. One Reddit user said, "It's a breath of fresh air. I ended up finding a very polished and enjoyable experience." However, it's hard to find much recent news regarding development of this game, so it would be nice if they had more publishable with all the recent news or updates that are going on. I do know they have a Discord as well where they probably post that, but you know, making this more like consumer facing would be nice, and just knowing more. There isn't much on the Steam page, for example. Next game is a game that if you have not heard of it, you have been living under a damn rock. Okay, it's old school RuneScape, and there is the Valamore Final Dawn update. Content update. It includes new quests, delve boss, new fletching activities, new player-owned decorations, a faster knife for your fletching skill. Unlucky anybody that's 200 mil fletching, it just got easier. New player-owned decorations, and my favourite new content, a gemstone crab, which is an AFK boss which people can relax and train combat experience on with decent loot. So when you're working, you can just put that on your second monitor and gain some combat experience. Now this is hilarious. Somehow, some way, some hardcore Iron Men have managed to die to this gemstone boss. Apparently, the max hit for this gemstone boss is 1. So somehow, hardcore Iron Men are dying to it. Interesting. Finally, Pantheon released a recent update called Ashbreather. This is a classic MMORPG. We built the Smouldering Trenches, the Ashbreather Enclave, and a small explorers camp, whilst also weaving these 3 areas together in regards to their setting and story. This is their first slice of level 40 plus content, so it seems they're expanding the game in Pantheon. So those are all the games we've got for you in this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll bring you the latest updates in Brighter Shores, but also other MMORPGs, and I'll probably make this a monthly video where we go through the latest games and updates for MMORPGs, and I'll bring the latest gems to you. I don't mean the gem boss from RuneScape. Okay, see you all later. I'm off to go get a pint.